Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Quick look here again at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Wow, what a difference here. Yesterday, everything that dropped is back on track as if it never happened. That's cryptocurrency for you folks. Get with it. I tell you what, this is absolutely very standard. Keep in mind, CPI data came out very hot in a good way and shot the price action up while Bitcoin was already kind of recovering. So this makes sense that most shorts got destroyed there. Likely a short squeeze at 70,000. We'll go ahead and double check that as well. And actually, I misspoke. It's not a squeeze, of course. It would be if it continued higher. Perhaps there were some shorts at 68,000, but the general consensus here is that there's liquidation at 70,000 that's likely to get swept if it hasn't already. So if you've been shorting Bitcoin, I don't know why you haven't secured profits already. Make sure you do that, okay? All right, so let's take a quick look here at Bitcoin, kind of work our way down with the back-end data first. Just do me a favor before we get started, hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Love to hear your thoughts on Bitcoin. What do you think? We're gonna hit 72,000, break that previous liquidation level, or are we gonna go ahead and sweep right back down as soon as the Fed meeting happens here today? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. One thing I want to talk to you about here today, and I'll point this out here in a minute, is the consistency in Fed meetings and how well the market responds shortly after. Well, let's look at that here in a minute. Quickly to note, though, before we get started, just to kind of get some foundation, 70,500 is that most recent area of liquidation there. While there was some at 70,000 even, 70,500 is that new level essentially in the last, ever since 2 days ago. So anybody shorting the last 2 days has a potential problem at 70,500. Those are likely higher leverage shorts. We got lower leverage shorts at about 72,000 as well. Let's quickly look at the 1 month though, because I'm very, very curious about this. Because this is the area that is a point of contention. There you go. Okay, still the same thing. Nothing much has changed there. Still a lot of shorts at 72,200. So we got a lot of liquidation there. I think that level will likely get swept, possibly even today, depending on how well the Fed meeting or how well the market responds to the Fed meeting. Keep in mind we're overextended leading into that. That could factor in, but we're going to double check a few key factors. Also important to recognize that 70,000 is somewhat of a resistance level because it was a previous support level, right? We got to recognize that too. So there's a distinct probability we're going to see some problems getting past that level at first, and it may actually break through depending on, again, a fundamental catalyst. Keep in mind, this right here is a fundamental catalyst. That's what CPI data did to the market today. It's a good sign, right? And if you're not familiar, basically CPI showed consumer prices rose 3.3%. I basically have that on my Twitter, Telegram, Discord, if you want to go ahead and reference that yourself. So anyways, let's look at the daily time frame, work our way down. Before we do that though, while this will also be on the daily time frame, I want to kind of highlight this too. I sent this to my community yesterday, so if you're not part of that, you wouldn't know. But generally speaking, the consensus here is that we have a bullish type of flag pattern. It doesn't look like a bull flag pattern here based on the simple fact that it's a daily time frame, but if you look at the weekly, this is basically a weekly bull flag pattern. Okay, so Bitcoin is still looking pretty good. In fact, we're tentatively breaking above that here so far today. Again, a little early to tell, but the whole point of me showing you this is these are all CPI dates here. Or sorry, correction. These are all Fed meeting dates. So every time the Fed meets, for this last year alone, we can see the price action, while it went steady for about 5 days after, inevitably took off and went 75% up within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Previously, we saw a rough estimate of about 20% correction from bottom to top, and that happened within about a week's worth of time after our Fed meeting in March. Okay? We take a look at May's Fed meeting. It was pretty low. While this candle could have been kind of somewhere in the middle, depending on when the market opened. The general consensus that we saw about a 27% increase. So that's a median of about 27%, or an average of a little bit higher. If you take into the consideration the last 3 events. Keep in mind the price can still capitulate and pull back down afterwards, but from bottom to top, lowest to highest point, we saw about a good average about 27% return, or a little higher depending on how you look at it. So I just want to kind of throw that out there and let you know, that's roughly what the market looks like when we do see the Fed meeting. It's not to say the Fed just shoots the price up after, but there's a little delay, but it will happen eventually. Okay, so my speculation here is we should be able to see some pretty good results here today as after the Fed meeting, or over the next few weeks. And today being a bullish engulfing candle, that's a very, very strong sign. So let's go ahead and discuss that here. First of all, we got this descending trend line. It's a little more identifiable on smaller time frames. We'll look at that here in a minute. What we do want to identify though is, of course, down below here with some important things. Now, we dropped below 50 in the RSI yesterday, but quickly recovered. So that's a very important sign. Stochastic swinging up, money flow index is decently well, and we can also see MACD is converging. Okay? Or sorry, trying to converge. It's effectively bottomed out. So once you start to see this oscillator here start to taper, that implies that the momentum has shifted. Okay, obviously we have a bullish engulfing candle here, and the price action's done very well. I mean, we're looking at 66,000 was a low point yesterday, and we're almost closer to 70,000 now. It's amazing how fast, all the turmoil from yesterday just disappears. Okay, so again, keep that in mind. We got some high volume candles here, of course, since CPI data came out. We do take a look at the 4-hour time frame. We can recognize where we're 50 on the RSI, very much a bullish sign. We spent roughly about 5 trading days underneath that. Now that we're above, we should likely presume the price is going to continue further up. Okay, now again, 70,000 will be at resistance range for us. We got to recognize that, but stochastic swinging up, money flow index is high, and we got a nice little MACD convergence here on the 4-hour too. These are all extremely good signs. We're also above all 4 moving averages, and what do you know, this time yesterday, we were below all 4. So again, does that matter too much? Yes and no. It matters in the sense that we close above that here today, and we have a nice continuation potential. But the fact that we're breaking this descending trend line to me is probably the most important. While it hasn't happened officially yet, it kind of still has because this 4-hour candle closed above, right? So the truth here is, as long as we can close sometime today at 68,000, 68.5 or higher, we're going to have that bullish type of confirmation that the price is back on track. Okay, now again, you don't just go hard and long to the moon on everything, but this is a very, very good sign. Let's take a look here at the cloud. This should confirm what I'm referring to. So when we talked about this yesterday, we were looking at the cloud, we needed to be above this level here. And again, the upper lead on the cloud, the lowest point here is 68,100. So pending the price pulls back a little bit here, hypothetically, we get a bullish back test, this descending trend line. That's what we're looking for. So again, optimal entry would be 68,500 as a rough estimate. But at this point here, it wouldn't be too terrible of an idea to consider taking a long position right now. Once again, that volume support, that we looked at the larger time frames too yesterday. Just to clarify, we got, ever since the price has been in this range, the volume profile, or just say the point of control, it was at 67,000, just under, if I recall correctly. So once that pulls up here, we can see there's at 67,000. We closed above 67,000 yesterday. That's a green light right there, folks. Okay. So again, that's kind of where we're at here, looking very, very solid. Every single time frame is reflecting bullish behavior. Now again, there's been many times when we've seen Bitcoin showing bullish and breaking bearish. It totally can happen. And we could have some negative fundamental catalysts here today with Fed meeting. I don't think so. Everything seems to be priced in here so far, and there's a distinct, very, very low distinct probability of the price responding poorly to the news here, unless there's a dramatic change or shift. Okay. So again, my thoughts here is based on the cloud and just some confirming factors. We would want to consider basically a long position somewhere between the current price point and 68,500 as a close approximate. Again, a bullish back test of that descending trend line is quite common, where the price action comes and bounces off that level. So we could very well see the price pull back to that range. That is the more recent low. That could work as a new support for us. Okay. So again, a lot of little things that we can kind of think about and recognize here, but the truth is, I think 70,000 plus is still a distinct probability. And again, this heavy concentration of liquidation to the upside, that leads me to believe we have a lot of merit for the bulls to push the price action to that level at the very least. Because 72,000 has been a point of contention. I discussed this again with my Bitcoin update that I sent out on my Twitter, Telegram, Discords, and just kind of letting you know that, hey, that 72K, we've tried that level to break that level, I think 4 or 5 times now. We're probably going to break it moving forward, and we could see a run towards 77 to 82,000. Okay? So again, those are all distinct probabilities at this point. So to me personally, I'm bullish on Bitcoin for the moment. I would say that a long position sometime between now and later today would be ideal. Keep in mind we have the Fed meeting coming out here today. That's at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So depending on where you're at in the States, of course, maybe you pay attention and see how that works out. Generally speaking, there's a lot of volatility during that time. I try to avoid trading that time, but lately we've actually found pretty good results with taking trades as soon as the results are in and essentially trading in that direction. You just got to use low leverage because the price action will wick up and wick down a lot. It'll inevitably find its direction, but once it, for starters, you can get just stopped out immediately if you use high leverage. So again, folks, high leverage is pretty much gambling. You're probably better off not doing it. Either way, thanks again so much for watching. Hope you learned something here today. Appreciate your time. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Make sure you take advantage of this exclusive offer from Bitunix too. Just want to make sure you're aware of that. Between now and the 30th of June, we have a pretty solid consideration there for some deposit bonus rewards. Furthermore, too, Twitter, Telegram, Discord, feel free to jump on over there. Help us grow the communities. Absolutely appreciate it, and we do look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks so much again for your time. Take care.